I'm still trying to get a little bit of mileage out of these calla lily leaves that you see here, but my wife had some sunflowers, so I tossed those in there, grabbed a light bulb. I have this little wooden maquette figure that someone's given me. And so again, just trying to create an interesting yet still kind of abstract but readable kind of composition. Now I'm not going to use the entire thing here. I've already kind of sized it up with my viewfinder, and on the right hand side here you can see the screenshot that I did from within here. This is the composition that I'm looking for, or that I'm going to be paying attention to. Now again, I want to remind you, this is not about correct size, proportions, or even correct shapes. This is not about accuracy. This is about you being able to slow down and pay attention to lines and try to get that eye-to-hand coordination reinforced. That's the biggest thing that we're trying to do this whole time. So today I'm going to be working with pencil. I'm going to be using my HB pencil. I'm going to leaf back to a clean sheet of paper here. Let's see. Okay. Make sure that your page is not embossed, because that's always kind of a pain in the butt. All right. Let me go ahead and reposition my camera. Give me just a minute. Hope that's not making you seasick. Let's get this further back so I can see. Okay. All right. Can you guys see my drawing supplies okay? Looking pretty good. All right. So first things first, remember the viewfinders that you made a couple weeks ago. I still want to encourage you guys to use these to help you kind of figure out where the best dynamic composition is in your setup that you've created. So with this, you can see that I've already chosen to go for a vertical setup in regards to this. So I want to make sure that my pad is orientated the same way, because my goal is to translate what I see through the finder here exactly to this page. So this helps me kind of control that size and scale. It at least gives me a point to start out with. Make sure that you start with, an HB pencil, something that's relatively nice and sharp. And again, if you draw too hard, you can always switch to a 2B or 4B, and that will allow you to use a little bit less pressure and still make a really decent mark here. All right, so first thing what I'm going to do, remember, when we're finding our composition, we want to pick a corner, one of these four corners, to go ahead and anchor somewhere in the composition consistently, so we can always see the exact same composition when we look through the viewfinder. And for me, I'm actually anchoring the bottom of my viewfinder right here, right beneath the light bulb that you see at the bottom of my composition there on the right-hand side. All right. Notice that I'm moving really slow. Notice the small little movements that I'm making with my stylus, trying to mimic what I see there in kind of the front of the sunflower. I'm using both positive and negative space here. Right now I'm using negative space to kind of really feel out this shape. Again, notice I have not lifted my drawing stylus off the page. Remember, your goal for this assignment is to go ahead and actually do it in one continuous line. Now, that's probably going to be hard for some of you, and it's okay to stop and take a break, especially if your arm starts getting really sore. Notice I'm going to the end lines now. Just kind of going wherever my eye is kind of taking me. Notice I'm lifting it, but I'm still kind of following where my gaze goes. Well, I got to start drawing a little bit softer, don't I? Oh my gosh, my dog's bugging the hell out of me. Hang on a second. Sorry about that interruption. Luxuries of living at home and having animals. Okay, so notice that as I do this, I'm trying to keep my pencil always to the pad. So wherever my eye scans, that's basically where I'm applying my stylus. Notice I'm kind of feeling out the size and the shape. Notice how I kind of do that kind of curve there that I'm seeing for the actual light bulb right in here. Call that kind of mass gesture. Again, though, the idea is to continue to reinforce wherever the eye goes, that's where you go. What do I notice right there? Notice that I'm trying to pay attention to where this is versus this and this. So clearly this scales off and this angles off. So again, it's okay to make corrections on this drawing, but pick right back up where you left off from. That's really important. Son of a gun. All right, I'm going to go ahead and stop right there. Let's go ahead and take a look at this a little bit more up close. So you can see I started up there at the top where the sunflower is, and I kind of fluctuated both in and out of positive and negative space, as well as continuous line. So using that positive negative space to go ahead and help me kind of feel out the space and to get those correct shapes. Some of the shapes are pretty abstract. I think the maquette was probably the easier one. It looks like I still need to work on the chest area. It looks a little kind of misshapen. But your goal here is not to speed along and try to create a masterpiece. Your goal here is to move as slow as you can so that we reinforce that idea of synchronizing both the eye to hand coordination so that when the stylus moves across the page, that means that the eye is scanning the subject in that area. So slow movements and go back and forth, back and forth. Look at your pad, look at your subject. Look at your pad, look at your subject, okay? So what I'm going to ask you guys to have also completed by the end of this week, in addition to positive negative space one, I want to ask you to submit a new picture for your new setup for continuous line, okay? Any comments, questions, or concerns?
No.
No. we want to go. Right here, you guys, you're killing me. Hang on just a second.